The myth of the lazy eye muscle. People genuinely believe that if you wear glasses long enough, your eye muscles forget how to work, like a leg in a cast. This is the single biggest misconception out there, and it's worth attacking head-on because it's almost the opposite of what actually happens. Your eye has two totally different muscle systems: the extraocular muscles, 6 of them on the outside, that move your eyeball up, down, left, right, and the ciliary muscle, 1 ring, inside the eye that squeezes the lens to focus. Glasses don't touch either of these directly. They change the path of light before it even reaches your eye. So when someone takes their glasses off and everything's blurry, that's not a weak muscle showing itself. That's the same uncorrected refractive error that was always there. The glasses were just compensating for it, the way a translator compensates for a language you don't speak. Behind your iris sits a ring-shaped muscle called the ciliary muscle, and its whole job is squeezing and releasing your eye's natural lens so you can shift focus between something close, like a phone, and something far away, like a mountain. This is called accommodation. Now here's the interesting part. Reading glasses, or distance glasses, shift where the image lands, but the ciliary muscle still contracts and relaxes exactly as it did before. It's just now working with a different starting point. Over 20 years, this muscle doesn't shut down from disuse. What changes is something else entirely. The lens itself gets stiffer with age, a completely separate, unstoppable process called presbyopia that happens to everyone by their 40s or 50s, glasses wearer or not. So, if someone's near focus feels weaker after 2 decades in glasses, the honest answer is that's your lens aging, not your muscle quitting. It's the same reason a rubber band gets less stretchy after years in a drawer. The material changes, not the hand pulling it. People conflate these two things constantly because both produce the same symptom, blur, and our brains are lazy about separating symptoms with the same appearance but entirely different mechanisms underneath. The real shocking truth: the eyeball itself changes shape. Here's what should actually keep people up at night: not muscles, but the shape of the eyeball. In myopia, the eyeball grows slightly too long front to back, so light focuses just short of the retina instead of directly on it. Research tracking children and adults over years shows myopia can keep progressing gradually, especially when the eye is still developing. And axial length, not muscle strength, is the real number to watch. Glasses correct where the light lands. They do not cause or accelerate this elongation. But here's the twist that actually is legitimately concerning. Undercorrection, wearing an outdated 2-week prescription, has been associated in some studies with faster myopic progression, because the eye is straining to make sense of a permanently defocused image. So the danger was never too much correction weakening you. If anything, consistent, accurate correction is protective. That single flipped assumption undoes almost everything people fear about long-term glasses use, and it's the kind of reversal that makes you want to go back and question every other assumption you've inherited without ever checking it yourself. Why dependency feels real, even though it isn't physical. There's a psychological layer here that's just as powerful as any physical one. After years of instantly clear vision through a lens, your brain stops tolerating blur the way it once did. Not because a muscle failed, but because your visual cortex recalibrated its expectations. A child who's never worn glasses shrugs off blur. An adult of 20 years wear finds it disorienting almost immediately. That's neural adaptation, not physical decay. The same reason a hand feels naked after years of wearing a wedding ring, or how a room feels cold the moment you take off a jacket you've had on all day. The nervous system tunes itself to whatever's constant and treats any deviation as an alarm bell, regardless of whether anything underneath has actually gotten weaker. This is worth explaining in detail because it explains almost all the anecdotal "my eyes got worse from glasses" stories floating around. The discomfort is genuine, deeply felt, and entirely real as an experience, but its source is upstairs in the brain's calibration system, not downstairs in the eye's mechanical hardware. Misdiagnosing the location of a problem means people chase the wrong fix for years, blaming an object, the glasses, for a process that's actually happening entirely inside neural circuitry that has nothing to do with the frame sitting on their nose. The one thing that genuinely does shift over 20 years, prescription strength. People notice their prescription number climbing over 2 decades and read that as proof of muscle damage, but the actual explanation is much simpler and far less dramatic. Eyes change for reasons that have nothing to do with the glasses sitting on your face. Some of it is that early elongation of the eyeball settling into a stable adult shape. Some of it is presbyopia arriving on schedule in your 40s, a universal event written into human biology, regardless of anyone's glasses history. And some of it is simply that a 2-decade-old prescription was measured against a 2-decade-old eye, and eyes, like everything else biological, are not static objects, they are slow-moving processes, more like weather systems than fixed sculptures. A rising prescription number over time is not a scoreboard of failure, it is closer to an odometer, quietly recording that time has passed and your body has done exactly what all bodies do, which is keep changing whether you're paying attention or not. The fear people feel looking at that number is usually a fear of aging, wearing a disguise, borrowing the shape of an eyewear anxiety because that's the visible, quantifiable thing in front of them, when the real subject was mortality and change all along. What 20 years of glasses actually leaves behind. So strip away the myth, and what's left after 2 decades of glasses is almost disappointingly mundane compared to the scary story. Extraocular muscles as strong as anyone else's, since they were never involved in the first place. A ciliary muscle that aged exactly the way every human ciliary muscle ages, glasses or not. An eyeball whose shape mostly followed its own genetic and developmental program, only modestly influenced, if at all, by the correction worn over it. And a brain that got very good, maybe too good, at expecting the world to be sharp, so much so that going without correction now feels like a bigger event than it mechanically is. Nothing was weakened by the glasses, something was revealed by them clearly, consistently for 20 years, and the revealing itself has been mistaken again and again for the cause. That confusion between showing something and causing something is maybe the oldest trick our own intuition plays on us, and it's worth remembering the next time any of us are tempted to blame the tool for a truth it merely made visible. What if I told you that everything you believe about glasses weakening your eyes is backwards? I want to talk about 20 years. 20 years of putting a piece of curved glass or plastic in front of your eyes every single morning and taking it off every single night. And somewhere along the way, almost everybody starts believing the same story, that their eyes got lazy, that the muscles forgot how to work on their own, that the glasses did something to them. Now, here's the thing about believing a story just because it feels true. It doesn't matter how many people repeat it. What matters is whether you can actually go look. So let's go look. Your eye isn't run by one muscle. It's run by 2 completely different systems that have nothing to do with each other. There are 6 little muscles on the outside of your eyeball that swivel it around, up, down, side to side. And there's 1 ring-shaped muscle on the inside, squeezing a lens, letting you focus close and far. Glasses touch neither of these. Not directly. A lens in a frame just bends light before it reaches your eye. That's it. That's the whole trick. It's a translator standing between you and a foreign language. Take the translator away and you're confused again. Sure, but not because the translator broke something in your brain. You were always confused by that language. The translator was just covering for you. So when someone takes their glasses off after 20 years and the world goes blurry, that's not proof of weakness. That blur was always going to be there. It never left. It was just being quietly corrected the whole time. Now here's where it gets genuinely strange, in the best way. The way nature is always stranger than the story we tell about it. The one thing that actually can get worse over years isn't a muscle at all. It's the shape of the eyeball itself. In nearsightedness, the eye grows very slightly too long, front to back, so light lands just short of where it should. That has nothing to do with a muscle failing. And the twist, the part that should really surprise you, is that the studies on this suggest wearing the wrong correction, an outdated, too-weak prescription, is what's associated with things getting worse faster. Not wearing too much correction, wearing too little. So the whole fear is backwards. We've been afraid of the exact thing that was protecting us. Then there's a layer that's not physical at all, and honestly, this might be the most human part of the whole story. After years of sharp, effortless vision, your brain recalibrates. It stops tolerating blur the way a child does. Take off glasses you've worn for 20 years, and the disorientation you feel isn't your eye failing, it's your visual cortex. Upstairs, having gotten very good at expecting clarity and treating anything less as an alarm. That discomfort is completely real. It's just happening in the wrong location in the story people tell about it. And the number, that prescription creeping up over 20 years, people read that like a scoreboard of damage. It's not. It's closer to an odometer. It's recording that time past, that your eye, like every part of you, was never a fixed object to begin with. It was always a slow-moving process. Some of that change was development settling into place. Some of it, especially past 40, is presbyopia, a lens stiffening with age, which happens to every single human being who lives long enough. Glasses or no glasses, spectacles or contempt for spectacles, it does not care. So what's actually left after 2 decades? Extraocular muscles exactly as strong as anyone else's, because they were never in this story. A ciliary muscle that aged like every ciliary muscle ages. An eyeball that mostly followed its own program, and a brain that simply got good, maybe a little too good, at expecting the world to be sharp. Nothing was weakened by the glasses. Something was revealed by the glasses. And we mistook the revealing for the cause. That's maybe the oldest trick our own minds play on us, confusing the thing that shows you a problem with the thing that caused it. It happens with glasses. It happens with 100 other things in life we never bother to go back and check. The real lesson isn't about eyes at all. It's about how easily a good story beats a true one, right up until the moment somebody's curious enough to actually go look. So the next time you hear someone say glasses ruin your eyes, you can smile a little, because now you know the real mechanism, and the real mechanism is always more interesting than the myth. 20 years of glasses didn't weaken a single muscle in your eyes. They compensated faithfully for a shape your eye was always going to have. What changed was your eyeball's own slow growth, your lens's natural aging, and your brain's calibration, 3 honest biological processes that had nothing to do with the frame on your nose. The fear was borrowed from the wrong place. The truth was simpler, stranger, and like most truths worth knowing, hiding in plain sight the whole time, waiting for someone curious enough to check. What if everything you believe about your glasses is exactly backwards? You've worn them for 20 years, and somewhere in there you started believing a story that your eye muscles got lazy, that they forgot how to work on their own, that the glasses did this to you. Everybody believes it. Almost nobody's checked it. So let's check it. Your eye has 2 muscle systems, and neither one is touched by a lens in a frame. A pair of glasses doesn't weaken anything, it just bends light before it reaches you, like a translator standing in for a language you never learned. Take the translator away and yes, you're lost again. But the translator didn't break your brain. You were always going to be lost without it. Here's the part that should actually shock you. The real danger was never wearing too much correction. Studies suggest it's the opposite, wearing too little. An outdated prescription is linked to things getting worse faster. We've spent 20 years afraid of the exact thing protecting us. So what actually changed in 2 decades? Not your muscles, your eyeball's own shape, settling into place, your lens, aging the way every human lens ages, and your brain getting so good at expecting clarity that blur now feels like an emergency. Nothing was weakened, something was revealed, and we mistook the revealing for the cause. Stay with me, because by the end of this you're going to see your own eyes completely differently.